Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. A very good morning to you all. And my name is Abdullah Hassan Gorondutse, Professor of Strategy Management in the Department of Management Science, Kolawudil Kano. I'm here to deliver a lecture on the topic Introduction to Statistical Modeling using IBM SPSS. As you are aware that now the current trend of the publication is all depend on the tool of analysis you use. So it's necessary for us to understand what the issue of SPSS and how we go about it. The presentation outline goes this line: the introduction to IBS, SPSS, linear analysis, data entry and coding, missing value, and the outlier, normality, reliability, testing, and what have you. So that is the presentation outline. Which will take time. I will go to the next point. Whenever I want to present a topic like this, I always try to highlight some of the important concepts on the topic or research itself. It is always at the beginning of the research, a student or a candidate always confused at the beginning that what is he going to start with? Is he going to try to start with the issue or is trying to start with the problem? This makes a researcher to always confuse at the beginning of the. So with this issue, I will begin to explain what is meant by research. For example, research is the process of finding solution to a particular problem. So many scholars have defined research in different ways, but this is the most common definition accepted by many authors like Sekaran and Buju and others. Research also is to discover of the solution is undertaken through a detailed study of the situation and factor related or associated with the problem. Many research you undertake is because of the situational factors, probably the issues affecting the environment, and then that you try to investigate to find out. So that is how you can see, for example, there is absenteeism in your working place, and then that reduces the performance of the organization. So you want to find out what are those factors lead to absenteeism, and that's why reduce the performance. So these are the things that understand. And then there are different types of research and approach to research. Firstly, for example, there are two types of research. We have applied research and we have basic research. And applied research is research done with the intention to apply result to a specific problem in the business. That is, you are finding a solution to a particular problem within the business. And then we have basic research. A basic research is done to enhance the understanding of that problem coming across the range of organizations. So that is basic research. Then we have quantitative research, which is the approach, type of approach, quantitative approach, and qualitative approach. The qualitative approach research is in-depth study by observing a particular case or one unit of analysis based on observable behavior, while the quantitative approach are methods that employ empirical data to investigate phenomena. So these are the classification. In qualitative, we only use observable behavior to find solution to a particular problem, while in the quantitative, we use empirical data to find solution to a particular problem. So then there are purpose of research, which is very, very important. For example, research, one of the purpose of research is reporting. We use research to provide an account of summation of data. Purists claim that it's not a research, although careful data can have the value. So you are reporting. Or you can go for description. You are trying to discover a defined subject or provide answer a question, particularly question of who, what, when, where, and how. That is description. Or another purpose of research is explanation. Researchers use theory, hypothesis to account for cause or occurrence. And then predictions. Researcher want to predict the occurrence of the phenomena, what is happening in the phenomena. So these are basically some of the purpose of research and why researcher conduct research. And then there are requirements for a good research. One, availability of data, method to be used, management support, guideline in selecting a problem, practical value of the problem, researcher's interest, time elements, cost, special qualification of the researcher, the problem. These are basically the requirement for your research. You must have available data. Before you start thinking to conduct research, are you sure you are going to have a data? Because you may start the research, at the end of the day, you may kind of collecting data will be difficult for you. So you must make sure that you have available data. Number two, method to be used. You have to think of which method is in line with objectives. Because most of the method that you are going for research, it has to go in line with objectives. Management support. Do you have any backing from the management to conduct the research? For example, mostly a PhD researcher usually is a researcher that get permission to come and conduct the researcher. Or there is a grant research, maybe organization find it difficult and they want you to conduct research to find a solution to their difficulties. Guideline is selecting the problem. You must have a guideline that will select the problem, and then you have a practical value of problem. Probably that to go for literature review to get practical issues of the problem. And then you have interest. If the researcher does not have interest, then there is no researcher can be successful. So you must have interest. Time element, you must give a time frame that you want to research, and the cost implication probably involve data collection, analysis, which you have to buy software and what have you. And then special qualification, if you are doing a PhD, you must have a qualification, at least BSc degree and master degree. You must have a qualification that will warrant you to conduct research. These are basically uh, main research. Now we come to the main of our concern, that is the introduction to SPSS. I just make a background introduction so that the beginner will understand why we do research, so that at least, and then this aspect is going to discuss about the social statistical package, social science, that is how to analyze your research. A lot of people are familiar with the name SPSS, but they don't know the full name of the SPSS. SPSS is a statistical package for social science. It's reflecting the original market, then later change to statistical products and service solution. SPSS is a widely used program for statistical analysis and social science. It's also used by a market researcher, health researcher, survey company, government, education, marketing organization, data, miners, and others. The original SS is called manual by 1970 and it's used by various kinds of researchers to complex statistical. And this is just a background so that you can understand what in SPSS. Why SPSS? Why researcher up to SPSS? There are so many advantages that the researcher utilize with the help of software SPSS. One, not much effort is needed to the researcher to use this software because it's easy to understand it, it's easy to do it. Number two, even the time required for analyzing data with the help of SPSS compared to less than other statistical tools. There are so many statistical tool analysis, but this SPSS, it will not take much time to do it. It is beneficial for both type of data, quantitative as well as qualitative. You can also use SPSS to analyze data which is quantitative and data which is qualitative. The user get the freedom of selecting preferable match, that requirement for data distribution. Because in the SPSS, you have freedom to select different match for your distribution of data. And the possibility of occurrence error is minimal because in any research or analysis there should be what you call measurement error. So therefore, using SPSS, it minimizes to have a lot of errors. Now, next we'll look at the data entry and coding, because once you know about the SPSS, then you need to know how do you enter data into the SPSS. These are the basic things that you need to understand, because the SPSS has a data view window used as a spreadsheet. For data entry, it has an array of column and row. The interaction between the row and column is the cell, and each cell shows a particular case for a particular variable. I will give example of this SPSS, but this is how the data view of the window view of the SPSS look at. The SPSS variable view window is used to define all the major variable interests, and this includes defining variable level, values, missing cases, and decimal places, and others. So this helps you to know what is inside the view of the SPSS so you can be able to explain. And then after you know about that, in the data view analysis in the SPSS, before you start to do analysis, there's what you call missing value. Missing value is a step to multiplicity analysis of data to check the missing value. It's happened when respondent either deliberately or accidentally failed to respond to one or more questions in the questionnaire. And leaving this segment of data absolutely have an effect on the result. And that is why in the SSS, it's allowed to treat the missing value. In the respondent, the question that does not, the researcher should not use his pen to fill for a respondent. He should allow the SPSS to treat it scientifically. So there are steps to which you use for the SPSS. For example, the step one is for the missing value is analyze, descriptive statistic, frequency, and inserted variable, then say okay. So these are the steps that you use to treat the missing value when it comes to analyze in the analysis. If you come across the missing value that are up to many levels, so it's not allowed for a researcher to use his hand to fill the missing value. The SPSS, in line with HERE 2010, that any case that more than 50% missing should be removed as an extensive as a sample is sufficient. Meaning that if there is a questionnaire that you find out the respondents do not fill after 50% of the questions, then automatically that respondent should be removed. But if the case less than 15%, then you replace it with the mean binary point. And if it is 5%, then you replace it with the series means value. So you see that in SPSS, you can easily replace the missing value without taking much of time. So before we go to outlier, I think let's have break so that at least we can take a refreshment when we are reaching outlier. I thank you for listening to this, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain on this particular concept of SPSS, particularly the introduction point research. And if you have any question, feel free, you can raise your hand. I will give time. Maybe when we come back, we can recast what we have done in the first segment before we move to the second segment. Thank you.